Hey everybody, it's your boy 1foot Wyatt, and welcome back to your favorite D-tier channel. With a game as vast and intriguing as No Man's Sky, there's no surprise one would find some glitches and anomalies amidst their exploring. I myself happen to find a bunch along my adventures, so let's take a look. First is an incredibly bizarre and funky glitch involving some pirate ships. Upon attacking the trading post, these pirates decided to fly too close to the actual structure itself, and it resulted in their ship trails glitching out into wild-looking zigzags. Here's a better view. I've never encountered this prior or since. It was a very surreal experience. Following our crazy pirate glitch, we have a series of menu glitches I experienced. Firstly, I was checking out some new multi-tools when the menu became a jumbled mess of various colored pixels. Don't know what caused this. This is the only time this had ever happened to me. Not only this, but I also had a similar menu glitch where my multi-tool texture was glitched out in the menu's background. And of course that wouldn't be the end of it, because at random, certain fauna I had scanned would have their pictures glitch out in the background, just like the multi-tool. It could lead to some pretty comical pictures. And not just their pictures glitched out either. One time, I had a species model turn bright white while I was in the Discoveries menu. I have no idea how this occurred, or why, but it did. Now for a couple visual glitches. For a first one, I was approaching a volcanically active planet with a very obvious orange hue in the atmosphere. However, upon entering photo mode, the pink hue from the previous planet I was just exploring had carried over temporarily, creating quite an interesting looking shot. However, I was able to fix it immediately by exiting and re-entering photo mode. Then to back up a pretty pink atmosphere, we have this very bizarre glitch I encountered. It was almost like the planet's skybox somehow loaded in above the actual terrain of the planet. That's my guess, at least. I had to reload the game to fix this. Next glitch is a super cool glitch you can do with the space anomaly. If you enter photo mode just as you're entering or exiting the structure, you can break the game's visuals and create some crazy effects. Entering photo mode upon exiting tricks the game into thinking you're still somewhat in the space anomaly. In doing so, it turns the star system you're in into a complete void, allowing the planets to really stand out. Not to mention that if you move the sun around when you're like this, you can see the orbit lines go weirdly fuzzy. On the flip side, if you enter and do this, your ship will actually continue inside and land while you're stuck back here being blinded by the light. While you're stuck out here, you can move the camera around and get a good view of a lot of nothing. But you can even see beneath the space anomaly too if you lower the camera angle. Moving on to a new anomaly, I managed to salvage a Sentinel ship on my adventures and make it my own. However, in doing so, I accidentally turned it almost completely invisible. It fixed itself by my next play session, but for the time being, I was able to enjoy flying around in an invisible ship. Pretty sweet. Breaking things up briefly, we have a few random NPC quirks I encountered. We have this one guy who managed to hold a conversation with his back turned. Then this other dude, who, like my Sentinel ship, is completely invisible, save from his tablet and maybe his bracelets and eyes. Strange. Then to top it off, we have this Corvax fellow who looked like he's never heard of texture pop-in before. All a bunch of great people in their own right. While up in the cosmos on my freighter, I happened to discover an out-of-bounds glitch. I jumped off the exterior and in towards the ship bay of my freighter, and shockingly was able to fly right in with my jetpack and explore. I even managed to get down to the thrusters of the freighter, although it was draining my life support like crazy this far down. Another brief glitch I encountered on my freighter was a door not loading correctly, allowing me to look out of bounds from within photo mode. And I actually encountered a near identical glitch to this one on a derelict freighter as well. However, this experience was made way more cool with the help of some jellyfish horrors floating around nearby. Back on solid ground for a bit of a goofy glitch, we have this sentient storm crystal. These guys are supposed to be embedded into the ground, and most definitely not tweaking about on the surface. It even continued wigging out after the storm settled. Now it's not just storm crystals that like to bug out, but also structures as well, like this one here. I guess this guy spawned on the edge of a hill, thus allowing for a full view from underneath the entire building. I even had this happen at 2 harmonic echo locations as well, albeit the second location only briefly. Our next glitch takes place at a Colossal archive, where if you have enough thrust in your jetpack, you can fly to the tippy top of the structure and fly right in thanks to the lack of collision. Back out into space, we have a pretty easy space station glitch you can do. If you fly and boost towards the entrance of the space station on an angle, you'll actually clip inside of the station during the landing sequence. Not to mention, you can also clip into space stations by flying backwards into the entrance. If you do this, however, you'll probably have to reload the game to get out, so save before attempting. Changing pace a bit brings us to some wonky sentinels and wildlife. Here, I was hiding in some flora, when apparently the sentinel just wandered in and couldn't see me. Word. And then later, my homie 50 Cent just decided to go invisible on me. Weird. On a separate occasion, I stumbled upon this dumb little dude just casually walking off a mountainside. And unfortunately, it wasn't just him either. He went out with a homie, I guess, too. And finally, for our wacky wildlife, we have a weird camera glitch I encountered while riding my pet. Upon doing a gesture in first person while riding, I got stuck in third person view. The only way to fix it was to redo a gesture and let it play out. After the gesture played, the camera angle would change back to normal. Now for our last handful of glitches for the video. There was this one instance when using the terrain manipulator. It decided to create this bizarre square shape around the hole it normally creates. Don't know why this occurred, but it was a pretty unique experience. Following this was some very wild bushes I encountered whilst exploring a cave. As you can see, they were straight 2D textures complete with black backgrounds. Very strange. The next clip is less of a glitch, but more weird than anything. Taking the camera underneath a random planet, I found this rectangle of dirt textures. I don't know if this is standard for every planet or not, but I thought this was pretty weird to find underneath just any random planet. Then another visit to the space anomaly left me confused when I saw a few ships flickering, as well as some of the pilots. And lastly for this video is an instance where I just fell straight through the map of a planet. With that, thank you so much for watching this video and exploring some glitches across the heavens with me. See y'all in the next one. Peace.